Hi guys, it's Marissa with Grow in the Flow, and I'm coming in here today to do a collective reading for the full moon in Virgo that is happening this Saturday, February 27th. So I'm getting a lot of spiritual breadcrumbs this morning. I have a bunch of things coming together, and it is all centering around this energy that we see here of the rose. Two of my Nature Speaks oracle cards have been coming forward that are both photos of roses that I have been tuning into for quite some time. And it's all just kind of coming up to the surface here to be looked at for this new moon. So I thought I'd do a collective reading just to pull everything together. And what I have done here is I called in, of course, the beautiful Rose Inner Child Energy Spray by Amanda Ellis to bring in that rose energy, but also calling in the Crimson Base Root Energy Spray to help us all to ground, to know that we're supported, to feel safe and secure. So I've brought those two energies in here today to work with us. And quick background story before we get into it, because I'd like to explain this little boxed rose over here that looks like it's giving me Beauty and the Beast vibes. This was a gift from my husband for Valentine's Day. But it actually was purchased at the grocery store on Valentine's Day when he was stopping there to quickly find me something to give. We don't make a big deal out of Valentine's Day, but he was very proud of himself for this, and that the lady told him that this is a real rose and that it can be preserved by keeping it in the sunlight. It'll last longer. So that energy, this idea of having something very beautiful or something that, we is precious to us, or that we keep sort of preserved or in this, in this place where we want it to last. And then eventually, of course, we know that all things have to change, evolve, move on, be let go of, etc. So this energy has been coming through very strongly, and I wanted to have the symbol here with this rose because it was just one of those things I was like, oh my gosh, I have the rose in the box. Totally the vibe that's coming in. So I pulled these three cards using the Moonology full moon spread. It's a simple spread. The first card position, we're asking, what's falling away? What do I need to forgive this full moon? The second position, we're asking, what is the full moon illuminating to show me? And then thirdly, what comes next beyond this full moon? So I've intended for this to be a message for the collective, and like all collective messages, there's going to be parts that resonate, some that may not, but there's something in here for everyone. So you just take what resonates with you, and we'll dig in here and see what we have. So for this first position, we're talking about what we are allowing to go, fall away, what do we need to forgive? And the card that's coming up here is a time for healing. And what this card talks about is how, things that have passed, and that there is a bright future ahead. And just to understand, again, bringing in this rose analogy that, in order for the rose to bloom bigger and better, it has to allow itself to die, allow it to enter into a stage where it can then be reborn again as the beautiful rose. And so this card does talk about that need for allowing the past to go, which is perfect for this position. It's perfect for the full moon because it is all about releasing things, forgiveness, so that we can, get real clear on then what our new moon intentions are when we move towards the new moon in Pisces that's going to be coming up on March 13th. So this card talks about, before going forward, be sure that you and the situation are feeling healed. You want to be sure that you're really feeling healed. And so that's a process that takes time. It takes patience. It's not something to be rushed. It's not a time to pretend like everything's fine. It's indicating that there's a situation for you, something that you have been dealing with, perhaps putting off, letting go, perhaps, reluctant to move forward from, that is in need of a little more time to heal and for you to be gentle with yourself and with others. A time to surrender. So letting go of trying to make the rose last forever, you know? It's this idea that, you know, all things must end, evolve, change in order to make way for new to come through. So whatever that thing is for you, you're being invited here to release it at this full moon. Surrender and listen for guidance from the universe. Knowing that it is okay to let something go for that greater growth. It's the message of the rose. We have to allow something to go, something to be released in order for something greater to come in. And when we talk about healing, I always say, you know, give a healing, get a healing, give a reading, get a reading. And that is to say that whenever you, you know, in this case, we're talking about extending forgiveness, releasing someone or something, that it is healing not only to the person, but to yourself. Healing not only to the situation, but to yourself. So this is also bringing in that energy of extending the love and compassion to the other party, the other situation, the part of the situation, a way of being within yourself, an old pattern, anything that is coming up that you know has been needing to go, but perhaps you've been reluctant to let go of. But it's telling you to be gentle with that, you know, allow yourself the time to heal, be patient, and then also know again, you know, we keep hearing about these seeds that are gestating, they're under the surface, and that's where I was bringing in that root chakra energy spray, because it really is about knowing and trusting that we are safe and secure, but that the seeds that we've planted, the things that we want to bring forward, are safe and supported underground, where even if we can't see them, we're trusting that they're gestating, and we're just in this phase of allowing that to do what it needs to do in order to come forward and bloom. Okay, so let's see. The second position is, what is the illumination of the full moon showing me? And we're getting communication is key. Okay, so this is giving us more throat chakra energy. There's been a lot coming up for people about speaking your truth, about getting real clear on something that you have to say, something you want to express. But this is also saying to speak from the heart. You know, that making sure that your communication is not harsh, but that you're speaking with love. And that helps too with, you know, when you're looking to make a connection between, you know, we have the heart, and then we have the throat, and then we have the crown chakra. So all the thoughts, all of the things that are going on in our head, trying to blend together, not being all in your head, but also in your heart. And so when you blend those two together, the crown and the heart chakra, you're then able to come into the throat and express those things in a way that is clear, direct, truthful, but also loving. So, you know, if there's something that you've been needing to say, someone that you've been needing to communicate with, this is illuminating the fact that that time is coming where you can then begin to express yourself and communicate. And if it's a situation where you can't actually speak with the person directly, it can also help for you to journal, to have creative expression. You know, you can write letters and rep them up. You can type a text and never send it. You know, things that help you to get out what is in your head, but allow it to circulate through the heart. You know, allow it to kind of come down through the head, go through the heart, and then be expressed in whatever way works for you. It could be time for a clean slate, you know, wiping the slate clean and having a new start with someone. Again, this is all about forgiveness, and we're giving a healing, we're getting a healing. We're giving forgiveness, and in turn forgiving ourselves and the role that we play, or an aspect that maybe we don't realize we have been holding on to that is ready to go. An exercise that this card talks about, I know in the book from Moonology, is that you can write a list of all the people you love and see how you've been prioritizing them. So this spirit of this Gemini energy is very much about communication. It's very social. There's a lot of ideas, travel. It brings up, and I think this is all in line with many people are going to begin to get some spring fever. We just had finally a day yesterday on the Northeast coast of 50-degree weather. And we're under a foot of snow here still. So it was very welcomed. The sun was amazing. You could go outside and sit there and pretend that it was spring. And so it felt so great. And as soon as that happens, I always find it stirring in me like, okay, we're going to, clean up stuff outside, start thinking spring thoughts, all of that kind of stuff. And so I think when that happens and people start to emerge, that's when, and also that's in line with, wherever you are and whatever things are going on regarding COVID and different restrictions and things that are in place. As those things potentially start to ease up, things are reawakening. And when that happens, we start to naturally feel more social. We might start thinking about things we want to do, places we want to go, and just kind of get the juices flowing. So it's illuminating the fact that that's going to be potentially coming up for you as well. But one thing to be careful of with all that stuff up in the head, making sure that you're not too much in your head, is if you are feeling scattered energy, that you make sure that you are grounding daily. And that can be done just by doing a simple grounding exercise. There's tons of them out there on YouTube. You can find them online, just quick guided exercises to ground. There are meditations that are out there that are guided, but it is definitely giving a nudge towards daily meditation and grounding practices. And that's definitely speaking to me. I mentioned on my Instagram page the other day that, Self-Care Sunday, we had the message to meditate. And I admitted, it was my Sunday confession, it is not a strength of mine to have a regular meditation practice, but it's something that I am continually guided that I really could benefit from. So I've been thinking about making March a month for dedicating to being more mindful. So I'm calling it March Mindfulness instead of March Madness, so that it is all about rededicating myself to being more mindful. And whatever that looks like for you, I would submit that it's something that you could consider to bring in as well, that whether it is just making sure that you're grounding every day, that you're protecting yourself as you go about your day, that you want to bring in a dedicated meditation practice. Another thing that's coming up, because the full moon in Virgo energy in general, which is what I have here overseeing the reading, is you are good enough. And one of the things that comes in through that is regarding taking a look at, a time for you to declutter your life, your home, your office, to sort out what's good in your life and what's got to go. And that's just more of this energy that is just coming through so strongly about evaluating, what is time to move on from, what it's time to let go of. And so that includes physical clutter, spring cleaning, the idea of going through things and clearing out is all coming in very strongly with this Virgo energy. And so, March Mindfulness would go very well with the idea of setting some type of intention or goal for yourself. This is sort of like that point in the new year now. So as we get into the third month, it's like whatever goals, intentions, resolutions, things that you may have set for yourself in January, maybe have lost their luster, maybe you've fizzled out a little bit. So this is bringing up and illuminating this reawakening, this opportunity to really get clear on what it is that you're releasing, letting go of, healing, forgiving, and then what it is that's staying with you. And, March Mindfulness just feels like an opportunity for us to kind of reinvigorate those goals and those intentions. So perhaps you'd like to join me. I think I'm going to be putting something out on my Instagram page about that. So now the third position is what is beyond this full moon. And we have a win-win outcome is forecast. Well, I always like to see that. Win-win sounds good. So this is very much with, balancing out the scales, finding balance. But with the Libra energy, it can also be talking about partnerships. It definitely has to do with us maybe closely relating to others. And whether that is romantic relationships, friendships, business partnerships, it's this either marking beyond this full moon, the start of a new relationship. It can be the ending of a relationship, or it could even be moving a relationship to a new level of commitment. So engagements, marriage proposals, new steps, buying a house, making a new level of commitment, but also, again, business partnerships and people coming together in ways that is a win-win, that is very balanced. Another reminder here again, and it's just bringing in this energy of allowing things to pass, allowing things to go as they must, is to know that, people come into our lives always for a reason. And, what's that saying that it says whether they stay just for a season? The idea that relationships, circumstances, in all kinds of areas, not just in, romantic relationships, friendships, again, business partnerships, if things are changing, in your working life, whether it is your job or you're moving on from somewhere or you're being moved from somewhere, that, it's a bittersweet situation where, again, we're working on coming to terms with allowing things to go and sending them off with love, but then also expressing ourselves clearly, getting real clear on where it is we want to go forward beyond this full moon. And then over here, understanding that whatever has played out here, however that's looked for you, that it is for your highest good, and that people do come in and situations come in to your life for a reason, even if it is just for a season, and that we have this opportunity to honor that by surrendering and flowing with that energy of change, that energy of evolution. So, it's just about, again, letting go of that which is falling away. And that no matter if it's with, again, other individuals, circumstances, within yourself, that we're always viewing those things through the eyes of love and compassion. And with that, I want to seal that in again with this beautiful rose spray, because this is just a beautiful spray for love and compassion. So it looks to be that it is a very important full moon that we're having here. There's a lot of energy that gives us an opportunity for release, forgiveness, healing, communication, expression, and then moving into a very bright and balanced future. So I hope that some of this has resonated with you. I think I would also like to offer, if anyone is interested in having their own full moon reading, feel free to reach out to me, because I'd be happy to do a spread like this. We could just do like a abbreviated reading like my Empowered Tarot readings that are on my website, that I could do a special full moon reading as well if you were interested in having these cards pulled specific for you and getting that personalized message. So if you're interested in that, please reach out to me on Instagram or through my website. I'll have the details below. And I thank you so much for joining me. I am wishing you a beautifully transformative and healing full moon. I'm sending out so much love and wishing you many blessings. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.